Have you ever heard of a U.S. president who was so lazy, he basically ruled from a rocking chair? It sounds like a joke, but it's the real story of America's 30th president, Calvin Coolidge. His time in office from 1923 to 1929 is often called the Roaring Twenties, a period of great economic prosperity. And because the country was doing so well, Coolidge figured, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He took this philosophy to a whole new level, believing that the best government was the one that governed least. So, while the nation was booming, what was the commander-in-chief up to? Well, mostly, nothing. Coolidge was a master of inactivity. His daily routine would make a retired cat look busy. A huge chunk of his day was dedicated to napping, and not just a quick power nap. We're talking long, luxurious, multi-hour siestas. He would often sleep for 10 to 11 hours at night and then top that off with a 2 to 4 hour nap in the afternoon. He once famously said, "I have never been hurt by what I have not said." And it seems he applied the same logic to his actions. His dedication to doing as little as possible was legendary. Staff members would often find him just sitting on the White House veranda in his rocking chair. For entertainment, he'd watch the cars go by on Pennsylvania Avenue. He even made a little game out of it, counting the cars and placing small bets with his Secret Service agents on which direction the next one would turn. Imagine that, the leader of the free world, more interested in traffic patterns than policy debates. Coolidge's cabinet meetings were notoriously brief and often ended abruptly. If a topic didn't hold his interest, he wouldn't pretend to care. He was known to simply state, "I'm bored," and then just get up and leave the room, leaving his cabinet members sitting there in stunned silence. He had a very direct, no-nonsense approach to communication, which often came across as pure laziness. He avoided long speeches and lengthy discussions whenever possible. His nickname was Silent Cal for a reason. He brought this same minimalist energy to his interactions with the press. Reporters trying to get a quote from him were often met with one-word answers, usually just yes or no. There's a famous story that perfectly captures his personality. A high society woman at a dinner party once told him, "Mr. Coolidge, I've made a bet with a friend that I can get more than 2 words out of you." Without missing a beat, Coolidge looked at her and replied, "You lose." And that was that. He just turned away and continued with his meal. But Coolidge's quiet life wasn't just about naps and avoiding conversation. He also had a rather wild side when it came to his pets. The Coolidge White House was less like the seat of government and more like a bizarre, exotic zoo. He had a small army of dogs, cats, birds, and even a goose. But his most famous companions were far from ordinary. First, there was Rebecca, a raccoon sent to him as a gift for Thanksgiving dinner. But instead of eating her, Coolidge decided to adopt her. Rebecca was given a diamond-studded collar with the inscription, "White House Raccoon," and was allowed to roam freely. She was known for being quite mischievous, frequently tearing up furniture, unscrewing light bulbs, and even making surprise appearances at formal events. She had a habit of climbing into the White House Christmas tree and had to be coaxed down with treats. Then there was Horace, a pygmy hippopotamus. Yes, a hippo. Horace was a gift from the tire tycoon Harvey Firestone. This tiny hippo, named Billy, became a national sensation. While he didn't live inside the White House, thankfully, he was kept at the National Zoo, and Coolidge would visit him often. The press and the public were completely fascinated by the president's strange menagerie. And let's not forget Smokey the Bobcat. A bobcat. Can you imagine a wild cat prowling the halls of the White House today? Coolidge seemed to have a special connection with these animals, perhaps because they didn't require long, drawn-out conversations. He would spend hours playing with them, a far cry from the serious, policy-driven image we have of most presidents. So, how did this all work out for the country? Surprisingly well, at least for a while. Coolidge's hands-off economic policy, known as Coolidge Prosperity, saw the nation's wealth double. He cut taxes, reduced the national debt, and balanced the federal budget every single year he was in office. His supporters would say his minimalist approach was genius. He simply got out of the way and let the American economy thrive. He believed that the business of America was business, and he acted accordingly by staying out of it. However, critics argue that his inaction laid the groundwork for the Great Depression. By not regulating the stock market or addressing the growing bubble of speculation, he may have missed the warning signs of the impending crash, which happened just months after he left office in 1929. His successor, Herbert Hoover, inherited the mess. This has made Coolidge a very controversial figure among historians. Was he a wise leader who understood the power of restraint, or was he a negligent president who simply fell asleep at the wheel? The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Calvin Coolidge was a man of his time, a quiet, reserved figure who governed during a period of unprecedented optimism and growth. He was a paradox, a president who achieved significant economic results by doing almost nothing, a man of few words who captured the nation's imagination, and a quiet leader who kept a zoo of wild animals in the White House. His story is a fascinating reminder that there's no single formula for leadership. Sometimes the most memorable leaders are the ones who break the mold entirely. Coolidge certainly did that. He showed the world that you could run a country from a rocking chair with a raccoon on your lap and still leave a lasting, if complicated, legacy. What do you think? Was Silent Cal a brilliant minimalist or just plain lazy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this look into one of history's most unusual presidents, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more strange stories from the past. See you next time.